Hi everybody, thank you for checking out my review for this Soocoo S100 action camera. I've been a big fan of Soocoo since I bought their first C30 more than a year ago. I've owned a couple of them, been very pleased with them, and when it was time to buy another one, I did some looking, and it looks like they actually have an upgraded camera, which is this S100. So when I was doing the research, I found that a lot of people had questions of what's the difference between the C30 and the S100. So as I do this review, I'm going to try to point out some of the differences between those two cameras, so you can kind of decide which one you want. I'll tell you off the bat, this one is worth the extra money. It's only a few bucks extra, and the S100 actually gives you some awesome extra features. So my recommendation is this one. I like it. If you have an extra, I don't know, I think it's like less than 20 bucks difference, 10 bucks. Soocoo really is, in my opinion, from all of the cameras I've tried, they're really the leader in the sub $100 action camera category. If you're not looking to spend a lot of money, they give you really good quality. So what I'm going to do later on is I'll actually film both of these together. I'll see if I can do a split screen. I'll upload it to YouTube so you can see it in full HD. I'll just do this whole review to YouTube because Amazon actually downscales our video, so you can kind of see the difference. My guess is, as far as the image quality goes, you're probably not going to see a huge difference between the two. But one of the big things is the lens on this S100, there we go, get it focused. The lens on this one is upgraded. They call it the Glass 7 versus Glass 6 on the SC30. It's a slightly better lens. But starting with the design of it, actually, I really like the design. So look at the lens there. Get you focused. So you can see that the lens is actually recessed a little bit. It's got a little bit of a lip over the top. Versus that, you can see the lens actually pops out. So it's a small detail, very small detail, but it helps the lens stay protected a little bit more, not a lot, but a little bit more from things brushing over the top of it. The size-wise, they're almost identical. Looks like the S100 is just a hair smaller, but the screen is the same size or close to it. Not enough really to make a big difference. One of the things that I did like about it is the S100 has these ridges around it. I don't know if they did that as for aesthetics or if it was actual function, but it does help you get a little bit more grip when you're not using the plastic case. This waterproof case, it comes with, I'm not going to go through all the accessories because you can see that on their listing, but the waterproof case, I very rarely film with that on unless I'm needing something waterproof or sandproof. So most of the time I have it like this, so it's nice to have just a little bit of extra grip. The other difference is the battery cover. So the first C30 that I got, I actually was really not super happy with the battery cover because it was hard to get out and change batteries. But this one is a little easier. You still have to slide with your finger and pull it up to change it. They redesigned that a little bit on this. You can see it holds in really tight, but you just slide it out and lift it up. So it's a little bit easier to do a battery change, which brings me to the next point, which is the battery. It actually does get better battery life. So it's interesting because it's rated for the same milliamp hours, 10,050, and I think are close to the same on this one, which is about the same. But it's a higher density battery, so you really do get better battery life. I don't know. Let's see what this one's at. Yeah, so 1,050 on both of them. So same rated capacity, but you get more battery on these. I have no idea why. But you do. Let me put that back on. The settings are largely the same as well. To turn it on, you just hold this power button. You can see it boot up here. The settings are largely the same. They've got great settings. One of the things that I wanted to show you, and I don't know if I can do it, I'm going to give it a shot, is the gyroscope. So watch the screen. I'm going to bring it in real fast from the other side and watch how it smooths out the stop. So, you see that? Let me see if I can block some of the sun there. So I don't know if you can see that, but the gyroscope on this is amazing, amazing gyroscope capabilities. So that was one of the things I was really impressed with on the C30, and they carried it over here. This is the button, obviously, to take pictures or start. Mode button cycles through, so that one's camera. This one is for still photos. That's to review files. I don't have a card in there. And then this one is your settings. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the settings. It's in the manual. But we're going to make sure that the resolution is set all the way up. So when I do my test recording, I'll have everything set as high to equal settings on both the C30 and this S100. Gyroscope on. Time-lapse motion detection. Audio. Yeah, I want to make sure audio's on. Date stamp, I turn the date stamp off because I don't ever keep it charged and don't want to deal with it. If you're going underwater, you put this diving mode on. It compensates for the red changes. You get better footage. This is something that I really like. This is the angle adjustment. So I very rarely film in 170. I will for the test footage so you guys can see, because I don't know if you guys are different than I am. But I don't like to film in 170, honestly. I film mostly in 70 because I'm not a big fan of the fisheye look unless you need it. So self-timer, image size, burst quality, we'll make sure that's up. I'll throw some pictures up for you guys too. You can adjust the white balance, a little bit of the ISO. Anti-shaking, we'll turn that on. Wi-Fi, so they both have Wi-Fi, which is cool. I very rarely use that, but you actually can download their app. I like their app. It's got some kind of rough reviews, but I haven't had an issue with it. You can link it with this phone, and then you can control it from your phone. You can actually even see the screen as well, so it gives you live view. Auto power off. One of the other things I wanted to show you, I'm going to scroll down so you can see there's lots and lots of settings, which is actually pretty nice for this price range. You don't normally get a lot of settings. I wanted to show you the night. Well, it's on here somewhere. Maybe I'll get to it. I don't want to take up too much time looking through all their settings. But they do have a light painting, which is kind of cool. It's not something I'm going to use a lot, but heck, it's on there, so it's fun to do every now and again. So that's the camera itself. Really nice camera. I like the feel of it. I like, more than anything, I like the way that it shoots. That's the important thing. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make a mount so that maybe I'll take you for a drive on my car. I don't want to be filming through the windshield, so I'll see if I can mount it up top somewhere so you guys can see audio or video difference between the two cameras. Either way, though, if you don't really care about watching the comparison or watching the demo of the quality, this is a really excellent camera. The video quality on it is unmatched. I've tried, I think, 6 or 7 different sub $100 cameras, and the Soocoo is actually the only one that I've kept. So I have the C30. I'm going to keep that one and this S100. Both equally good video quality. Supposedly the lens on this is a little better, but so we'll kind of let you guys make that decision. I do want to have a disclaimer, and that is that the editing software that I'll use to do the split screen for these two, it might actually edit them down to the same quality. So I'm not sure how that's going to turn out yet, but I'll still put it up for you. And I will also, I'll make a note of what my experiences or what I actually see different. If the computer doesn't show what I'm seeing with the cameras, I'll make a note of that in the review as well. But as of now, I really like this camera. I think you will too. So let's go ahead and get some test footage. Sorry, this is the C30 here. So I'm going to go ahead and just run you through. We're going to do ultra high quality. We're going to make sure the gyroscope's on. We're going to, let's see, angle, we'll do 170. Image size, this is more for pictures, but for good measure we'll make them the same. Quality, fine, sharpness, high. Okay. So we'll put that back. Notice the battery life is full. So now we're on to the S100 here. See if we can get it to focus. It's a little harder here, so let's go. Resolution, ultra. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it to focus. So that's the ultra. We're gonna go make sure the gyroscope is on, because I want to compare both battery life and WDR on. Okay. I want to compare battery life and video quality. All right, so here we go. Angle 170, image size 20, quality fine, sharpness high. Alright. So let's make sure that the WDR, the wide dynamic range, is more for photos, but just for purposes of being complete, I'm going to make sure that that's on here on the C30 as well. Alright, so it's on, and we are ready to start filming. C30 did in fact drop a bar, and the S100 is still going strong. So very interesting. The batteries are rated for the same milliamps, but they weren't lying when they said that they gave us a better battery. The proof is in the pudding. You can see that there. So I still have to get this back. I want to examine the video quality there and before I make my final decision. But I am quite pleased with these little cameras. The C30 has been my go-to camera forever, but as of now, I'm thinking that this S100 has it beat. I mean, there's a lot better options as far as the design of it, and the battery life by itself makes a huge difference. So let's go ahead and get this back, and then I'll do my final write-up. All right, so that's it. This is the S100 between the C30 and the S100. S100 has it. I mean, it's a better design. It's a little better lens. The quality looks a little bit better, but the battery life is significantly better, and you've got a couple more features like the light painting and stuff like that. So for an extra few bucks, I think you get a lot more with the S100. If it was nothing else other than the better battery life, I would still recommend the S100 over the C30. Both excellent cameras. I think that's the reason why you don't see a whole lot of quality difference in the footage. They're both really amazing cameras. But if you can front the extra, 10 bucks, 20 bucks, whatever it is, it's not much. I would definitely recommend this S100.